Hey guys, Francois.T here. So today I thought I would do one of my, story moments and talk to you guys about something rather deep once again. So it's been a while. If you saw my last video about my ex, this is similar to that in that this is going to be a rather deep story, but I guess you guys don't really care about the introduction to this, do you? You just want to sort of get into the story, right? So let's do that. Today I'm going to talk about coming out. Now, I am gay. If you didn't know, I have my loud and proud flags and my poster in the background. I had a few more posters. I don't know where they've gone. Oh, they've fallen. Oh, there you go. I didn't even realize that they'd fallen. But anyway, being gay comes with, obviously, some things that you have to deal with. For me, one of the toughest things about being gay, and one of the earliest memories I have, was everyone else knowing except for me that I was bullied quite a bit in school, whether it be primary school or high school. I was bullied in both, and it just got worse in high school. So for me, I grew up believing that it was much better to keep my gay identity a secret, whether or not it came across as obvious to others. Some people, have told me that they knew this whole time and blah blah blah, and that's, bloody freaking wonderful. I have to pause here before I go any further and say, the worst thing that anyone can say to anyone that comes out to them is, oh yeah, I knew you were gay. Because seriously, the response you want to yell back into their face is, if you knew, why didn't you say something to me? Because that would have made this a whole lot easier. Instead, I have to go through some psychological confidence booster to tell you that I am, when you knew all along. So why don't you just come to me and say, by the way, are you gay? I was just wondering. And if you are, that's totally fine. But no, you make me do all the hard work and then you throw it in my face that you knew all along. What the hell? Anyway, so the very first person that I came out to was my sister. And that went really, really well, actually. Despite the fact that my sister told me that she knew. I think, a lot of people told me they knew anyway. She handled the situation really, 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 really well. When I was younger, my sister and I used to walk our dog. We had this gorgeous short-haired Cocker Spaniel, specifically short-haired because myself and my mum suffer from asthma, so we wanted a dog. Short-haired Cocker Spaniels were the best for asthmatics. So yeah, we would walk the dog by ourselves every day, and so yeah, part of the route of our walk is that we get to this playground/park area. And yeah, we would just, sit there. We wouldn't let the dog off the leash or anything, but we would just sit on a bench or whatever and just have a chat. And so that's what came up today. And so I told her that I had something to tell her, and I came out and said, the uncomfortable thing you have to say. And just want to let you know that your brother is gay. And honestly, she was really, really cool about it. She goes, look, yeah, I knew, and it's totally fine. I don't have any problems with it. If anyone has a problem with my brother, they can come and talk to me. And honestly, her attitude has never changed. With this whole voting thing that's going on, my sister has been so supportive. Seriously, you guys. I was talking to her all through the campaign, different times we were talking, and she's like, I don't get why you can't vote. And if there's, not why you can't vote, why you can't get married. And, if there's anything that I can hope for my brother, other than the fact that he finds love, it's that he can marry the love of his life. And she's really, really, really supportive of me and being gay and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, she was really understanding at the time, and I told her that I hadn't told anyone else. I wanted to start with her, because we had a very close brother-sister relationship. Now, to say that we didn't fight would be a lie. We did, all brothers and sisters fight, but we were very, very close. When we were young, our parents separated, or divorced, I should say, and that was tough on us, but I think it made us much closer. And so we had a really, really great relationship. the majority of the time. So yeah, I told her I hadn't told anyone else, and she swore that she would keep my secrets. That was good. So going from there, I honestly thought that it was going to get easier for me. I thought, wow, you know, my sister took this really, really well. I guess everyone else is going to take it really well as well. So, you know, I told a few friends, and that was a rather interesting situation. I told my longest friend, and her response was, oh, I always knew. And honestly, the response really pissed me off because of the way she said it. So, see, my sister said it as well. But there's a difference between saying, oh, I always knew, compared to, oh, yeah, I knew that, but it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Like, there's a big difference. You know what I mean? Anyway. So, I dealt with that. I then told my best friend at high school, who I kind of, sort of, maybe had a really massive crush on. And we actually came out to each other, which was really nice. We did not end up going out, in case anyone thinks this is a happy, you know, Prince Charming fairy tale, and we ended up, you know, going to prom or whatever. First of all, there is no prom in Australia, but, you know, that didn't end up happening. We ended up staying friends, we didn't go out. But that's totally fine. We'll just move on from that and talk about my next experience I want to discuss with you. So then came the time when I was going to go and tell my mum. Now, I have to tell you guys this. When my mum and dad got divorced, my mum got sole custody. I went and saw my dad once a fortnight, and to start with, we would stay overnight from Saturday to Sunday once a fortnight, and then after that, that just got completely cut out because the sleepovers just did not work at all, and we went just on Sundays once a fortnight. So I came out and I told my mum. My mum's reaction was basically that she sat there like a stunned mullet and didn't know quite what to say. I understood that she was going to be stunned, so I basically just sat there and waited for a response, quite respectfully, and eventually she turned around and she said, okay. And then she walked away. And honestly, the more I sat there on my own, my mum went outside to hang out some washing. I'll never forget this. I was thinking, yeah, this doesn't work for me. In fact, it reminds me of a time when I was in production back in high school, and I asked this guy out that I had a major crush on because I thought he was a really gifted actor, gorgeous guy. It took forever for me to ask this guy out. I finally asked him out in the most stupid way. I got him alone and I said to him, I just want to let you know that I really like you. And his response to me was, oh, thanks. And then he walked away. It's like, it's infuriating. People giving you responses that you just can't work with. So anyway, let's get back to my story about Mum. So she says, okay, and she goes outside and she's, you know, hanging up the washing and all that, and I'm sitting there going, hang on, I can't work with okay. Like, what does okay mean? I mean, okay is more than okay. Like, okay can be, like, you know, alright, or right on, or maybe, or okay, so you told me, or, okay, I'm really not good with this. Like, it can be many different things. So I decided, you know what, I've come out, I've done the hard part already, she knows. So I'm going to follow her outside, and I'm going to find out what the heck is going on, and why she's saying, okay. So I approached her, and I said, look, you heard what I said, right? I'm gay, and she goes, yeah, and I said, okay. And she wasn't really looking at me. She was just like, yeah, and I said, okay. Like, yeah, gonna need a little more than okay. Like, I just want to know, like, are we good with this, or what? You know, because being that my mum got sole custody, she was sort of like my mum and my dad growing up. She was my sole parent in many ways, so I need to know where I stood with her. And that response, if anything, was making me sort of want to go back into the closet and sort of lock the door. She turned around and said to me, no, it's okay, you know, it's fine, because I know that this is just a phase that you are going through, and it's going to be okay. Yeah. Shock, horror was my response. Shock, horror. My mum was born in one of the most liberating countries in the world, the Netherlands, who are very pro-gay everything, all about equality, legalization of marijuana. I mean, dare I go on, like, they are so far ahead of so many other countries around the world that I really was surprised that her response was something along the lines of, it's a phase. I mean, I'm sorry, like, not to say anything bad about Italian mothers at all, but to use the stereotypical Italian mother who's Christian and goes to church all the time, you sort of expect that from them, to say it's just a phase. Not from a Dutch woman. But anyway, she thought it was a phase. I told her it wasn't. She was not convinced, and, well, I haven't been with a woman since I told her, so, wonder how she's sort of feeling about nowadays, but we'll get to the future in a moment. So anyway, a couple of days go by, and Mum told me not to tell my dad. She says, don't tell your dad, because no matter what happens, he's not going to be happy about it at all, and I'm just, well, and I quote her here, I'm just afraid for you if you tell your dad. So, as a child, I was like, oh my god, you know, what's he gonna do? Like, he's gonna beat me up if I tell him that I'm gay? Okay, I guess I better repress this and not say a word about it. So time went on, and this year and the following year were very big transitional years for me, and I'll explain why to you. Where I went to high school, one of the things that differentiated them from a lot of other high schools was that there were 2 junior campuses and 1 senior campus. So the 2 junior campuses were from years 7 to 10, or if you're not in Australia, the first 4 years of your high school experience were spent at one school, and then the final 2 years were spent at the same school but at a different campus, like somewhere else. So, I was in that final year of that junior campus, and so, as I said, I told my sister, I told my mum, I told my longest friend, whose reaction was, I already knew, and I told my best friend at the time at school that I had a crush on. Didn't really work out, but that's totally fine. And what I started realizing, the more I started opening up and telling certain people, was that I had wasted my time not telling people earlier on. I felt like I was keeping a secret that I didn't have to keep. So cut forward to the senior campus, and I ended up hanging around a completely different group of friends to what I was used to at my old school. One of the advantages of going to this senior campus was that students from the other campus, so I went to one, and as I said, there were 2 junior campuses, from the other campus also came to the senior campus. So we got to meet a whole bunch of other people, which was really, really nice. And I started hanging out with them rather than my other group. My other group were going a different way to me, and that's totally fine. It wasn't anything bad. It was an amicable split. It was all fine. So I ended up hanging out with these people, and very quickly, one of the people and I, we sort of became like the head of the group in a way, and on the first day of meeting her, I very boldly said to her, oh, by the way, and I'll never forget this, we were walking through the quadrangle, I said, by the way, I just want to let you know that I'm gay. I don't want to hold it back anymore, because I'm sick of keeping it a secret. I hope you can accept that. I just want to let you know. She goes, oh, that's great, because I'm bi, so, you know, glad that we got that out the way. Let's move on. So that was wonderful. It was such a great experience, and then everyone else found out about it in the group, and everyone was fine with it, and no one cared, and I no longer kept it a secret. The only person I kept it a secret from was my dad. Now, if you remember, when my mum was talking to me not so long after she'd found out, she was telling me that she was scared for me to tell my dad. I now need to fast forward through several different experiences, relationships, all that. My very first relationship was actually with a guy in a different state, so a guy in Sydney. It didn't really work out in the end, not just because it was geographically undesirable, but he was actually older than me, and because of the age barrier, it just did not work. Anyway, so fast forward through many other friendships, many other relationships, whatever, and we probably get to about 6 years later, and I am now with another guy who is, once again, older than me, but for some reason it seems to be working out. About a month goes by, and I decide, with a bit of coaxing from this person, that I am going to tell my dad. So I rung him up and asked if he and his new partner would like to come and have dinner at our place. Because of course you don't say these things over the phone, you say them in person. I told my partner I needed him as a buffer because if my dad did go absolutely crazy like my mum said, that I don't know what we were going to do, and we had all these measures in place like putting phones nearby so we could call the police and whatever if it all went out of hand. My dad shows up, we start eating, and we get to the point where I'm making the big reveal. And I say, look, Dad, partner, who I won't say the name of, I just want to let you know that I'm gay. And it came out really softly because I was freaking out by this point that there was going to be a fist flying into my face. So like, I'm just going to let you know that I'm gay. The partner responded first, and she said, "Oh, good! You finally told us!" Was not expecting this from the partner at all. And my dad said, "Oh, okay." So then the next step was to say, and this is actually my partner, because they'd been under the belief that whole time, or at least I thought they were, that this guy that I was with was just my roommate, or my friend, or whatever you want to call it. And my dad said, yeah, okay, that's fine. Look, as long as you're happy at the end of the day. And his partner sort of took over the conversation from there, saying a lot of, great things as well. Like, yeah, as long as you're happy, whatever makes you happy. I have gay friends, blah, 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 blah. But he never really had an issue with it. And what surprised me, first of all, was that he never had an issue with it. We never came to blows. Nothing bad came of it whatsoever. And so I sort of started regretting the fact that I hadn't told him earlier. I'm wondering if there would have been any sort of a difference had I told him this earlier. Fast forward to today, my dad has had a couple of concerns with me being gay, but it hasn't been anywhere near as much as what my mum was trying to make me believe. So his only concerns that he has had, honestly, this is really the only one that I can recall since then and through to now, is that it's harder for gay people than it is for straight people. And he feels that my life might have been easier if I was straight. But, if it makes me happy and if it's who I am, then that's the way it is. And he's not going to get upset or complain about it or anything like that. Now, I can see the logic in that. So any parent or any friend or whatever that responds by saying your life would be easier if you were, on the logical side of that, I completely understand where that's coming from. It is. Because, being gay, you're in a minority, you're different to the norm, to the average person. So I understand that. But otherwise, he doesn't have any issue with it at all. My stepsister, so my dad's, at the time, new partner became my dad's new wife. So she's now my stepmother. My stepmother's daughter, who I just call my sister, we don't call her stepsister, I just call her my sister. She is actually so accepting, I mean, she has a lot of gay friends anyway, that one day we're at the shops and she was telling my two nieces, she was talking to them about something that they discussed quite a while ago when I first came out, and she said to them, because it was just me, her, and my two nieces and no one else was there one time at the shops, and she said, oh, do you remember what you said about Uncle Francois? And they said that he's gay, and that's okay, because he is a lovely person, and it makes him happy, and just because he's different, that's not a bad thing, and we love him. And they gave me the biggest hug, and it was just so beautiful, and I have a lot of gratitude towards both of my sisters, my biological sister and my now new sister, because they've really been so completely understanding and so supportive. I also just want to make mention straight away that I am the only I feel like, what's that British show? I don't remember what it's called, but I feel like saying, I'm the only gay in the village. I don't remember what it's called. Little Britain. Yeah, haven't seen it for ages. But anyway, I'm the only gay in the family. Like, if I go through both sides, unless someone is hiding a very deep, dark secret that they haven't revealed, I'm the only gay in the entire family. So I could understand if there were some reservations. Now, I do believe there are some reservations with other people that have found out about me. So I really didn't want to bring that up too much in this discussion. There are members of my family that I don't talk to anymore, and they don't talk to me. And I think a big part of that is because of my sexuality, despite the fact that they are not saying that. I do believe that that is a big part of the reason. Then there are other members on the other side of the family who really just don't talk about it too much, but I don't get the feeling that they're not accepting that I am. They just don't talk about it. And I have the feeling that if it came up, it would be totally fine. For example, with the other side of the family and these people that I'm talking about, they had a Christmas party not so long ago, maybe a couple of years ago now, and I took my current partner to the party and no one had any objection to that. And everyone was treating him like they would treat anyone else. So I don't think they have a problem with it, they just don't bring it up. And in fact, one of the members of that particular side of the family, of that group that I'm referring to, actually her best friend is gay. So, I mean, if she can be accepting, I assume so can the family. Now, let's very quickly talk about the difference in family dynamics. I know this video has gone on quite a while, but I want to give you some more of an understanding of why things are going and how they're going and how this is all working. Okay, so Mum's side of the family was born in, as I say, was born in Holland. So there's my Oma and my Opa, Dutch for grandma and grandpa, my mum and my uncle, and then obviously my sister, and on my uncle's side I have my niece and my nephew. My auntie on mum's side is Greek. My uncle and my mum were born in Holland. So I'm first generation Australian, as is my sister, as is my niece and my nephew. They are Dutch. Holland is a very open-minded country. However, this side of the family is more conservative than that side of the family, I do have to say. So, for example, if we're getting together for a family dinner, then, you know, come in a suit or something like that. You know, very conservative. Even if it's 40 degrees at Christmas, you're still going to come in a suit. This side of the family, my dad's side of the family, my dad's parents, who have both passed on, God and Goddess rest, originate from England. So my granddad and my nanny were born in England, and my father is first generation Australian. So he was born here along with his sister and his brother. His sister, my auntie on dad's side, has a husband and 3 girls, my cousins, all born here. My dad's brother does not have any children, and he's single at the moment. Now, my dad's side, when we get together for functions like Christmas or Easter or whatever else we get together for, the main reason why it is so different to this side of the family is because the predominant family on this side, when you're looking at the numbers, is my auntie. So you got my auntie, my uncle, and the 3 girls. So there's 5 there. Plus, we need to also take into consideration that 2 of those girls have partners. They're both married. One of them has 2 children. So that's quite a massive amount of people that are at the gathering. They are very laid back, like ultra laid back. If this side of the family says, come to us 40 degrees heat in a suit, that is Celsius by the way, then this side of the family says, come to us in thongs, Australian thongs, or in America you would say flip-flops, in flip-flops and shorts and a singlet, and we just don't care. We're gonna lay about in the sun and have a nice little conversation, and everything is just ultra casual on this side of the family, which is fantastic. On this side of the family, you would think twice before having any sort of a drink at all. At this side of the family, you can arrive, feel very stressed from the day before because you're with this side of the family. I go to this side first, then to this side. And say, oh God, like, can you get me a drink? Seriously, I need a drink right now. So, very, very, very big difference, which is interesting considering that, as I say, this side originates in England. The parents were English, and English people stereotypically are very black and white in the way they think. That's my experience. So, you know, they believe in logic and reason versus fantasy or emotion. Where this side, the Dutch side, which is meant to be all about emotion and, you know, equality and so on and so forth, are very ultra-conservative in the way that they think. So very, very, very interesting and very different. But that's the explanation there. Now, I just want to quickly tell you about the elders of the family, and then we'll move on. This side of the family, when it came to my nanny and my granddad, I never actually came out to them. Now, I'm sure that my granddad found out somehow, but my nanny passed away when I was very young. I think I was 7 or 8 or something. So I don't know if she knew, but my granddad probably knew, but I just never actually came out to him. My Oma and my Opa knew that I was, and I don't think they were comfortable with it to begin with, but latest reports show, because I'm being told this by other people, latest reports show that they are fine with it. They just don't really talk about it, and as long as I'm happy, that's what matters, but they don't really want to talk about it so much. That's fine. Look, honestly, I expect that from the elders of the family. You know, that's their way. That's probably how it was for them back in the day. You know, children, especially grandchildren, should be seen and not heard, so, you know, so that's just a generational thing, and that's totally fine. But anyway, that's my experience with my family. It's a very, very different. As I say, you know, I've got people over here who are very supportive and, you know, will go out of their way to discuss it with me, and they're very open and all that. But also, I have people over here who don't really talk about it, and they're very ultra-conservative. So I've got a mixed bundle over here. Where on this side, they don't necessarily talk about it, but they're very, very laid back, and, you know, it's all, you know, do what ye will. Like, literally do what ye will. I love that my cousins, their idea of having fun is playing little games. So because they have such a big family, so whether it's anything ranging from Uno to who can throw the Coke bottle in the bin from the furthest distance away. And like, these guys are adults, so like they have a lot of fun and all that, and they're very laid back, but they just don't bring it up. Now, I'm not saying they're against it, they just don't bring it up. But it's all very different and very interesting. So that's my experience. If you would like to know more about my experiences in coming out, because I do have other experiences with that, or anything else to do with my experience of being gay, then certainly comment below and let me know. I'm more than happy to talk about this with you guys. Also, if you'd like to talk to me about your experiences, about whether you're gay or bi and had to deal with coming out with that, or if you know someone who has and the experiences that they've gone through, I'd love to hear what's going on there. Now, obviously, you can see the poster behind me. Everyone's voting yes, have you, is what that says, in case it's too blurry to read. So there is a vote going on in Australia at the moment. I'm sure you're all aware, because I talk about it all the time on this channel. Should gay marriage be legalised? I'm hoping that it will be. We're going to be finding out about this later on this month, so I think in about a week. Like, it's the 7th today, so I think we're going to find out in about a week. You know, if that's actually going to go through. So that's going to be really interesting to see what does happen. But, yeah. I'm gonna shut up now because, like, we've been going for 28 minutes, so, like, seriously, you guys are probably like, Francois, shut the fuck up, seriously, like, I mean, I gotta go, I don't have half an hour of my time to listen to you talk about being gay, so we are gonna wrap this up now, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. As I say, if you are gay or bi and want to tell me about your experiences, feel free to let me know below. If you know of anyone, feel free to let me know about that also below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, give it a thumbs up. Until then, I am Francois.T. Bye, guys. Hi there, I'm Francois.T. And no, I do not, like my name suggests, like tea. In fact, I prefer coffee. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. To catch more videos, hit the notification button so you're never out of the loop. We do impromptu videos, we do live chats about spiritual moments and sometimes about shows, but most importantly we do impromptu live chats. So if you hit that notification bell, ding, then you will be notified as to everything that goes on in this channel. Make love and not war, and enjoy your coffee. Bye guys.